collisions, close calls, cop cars, and carts? This episode is packed with fails, faults, flubs, and funnies, so hold on tight. James had pulled off New Zealand's State Highway 1 to answer a phone call when the driver of a brand new Porsche lost control, hit a ditch, and went airborne before ending up in a field with airbag smoke rising. Several drivers stopped to help. Thankfully, the Porsche driver was able to walk away from the crash without any serious injuries. James, the Porsche driver, and the police reviewed his spectacular Teslacam footage after the police responded very quickly. The officers appreciated being able to see exactly how the incident had occurred. James later learned that the Porsche was written off, and the driver had been taken to the hospital after all as a precaution. The driver was very fortunate to strike the section of road where there was space to run off. If she'd landed anywhere else, she'd have hit the barrier and bounced back into oncoming traffic. Or maybe she wasn't so lucky. 2 days later, a new highway opened which bypasses this notoriously dangerous section. Cristobal was driving home from the hospital where he works when a Mitsubishi Outlander ran a red light and T-boned him. Thankfully, there were no injuries, so neither Cristobal nor the occupants of the other car had to head back for a meeting with Cristobal's colleagues at the hospital. The Mitsubishi driver admitted his fault immediately. The police arrived in a few minutes to secure the area and clean up the debris. The police were amazed by the car and couldn't believe that the whole incident had been recorded. They remarked that Teslacam made their job much easier. The Mitsubishi was declared a total loss, but the Tesla will be repaired, and Cristobal has been told it will take around 4 to 6 weeks to fix. The Mitsubishi driver's insurance will be covering everything. Sumit was driving his Model Y in Denver, Colorado. He was driving along at the speed limit of 35 miles per hour when he approached an intersection. His traffic light had been green for a full 4 seconds before he entered the intersection and felt a large impact from the side. The driver of a smart car ran their red light and T-boned Sumit's Tesla, sending it crashing into the Subaru on his left. The police responded, and the smart car driver— wait, is the driver smart or is the car smart? I guess in either case, the car definitely isn't smart now. Anyway, the driver of the smart car was found 100% responsible for the collision. When Sumit filed an insurance claim, it turned out the owner of the smart car was underinsured. Sumit's Tesla was deemed a total loss, and he's already ordered a brand new Model Y to replace it. I can hear some of you asking, what happens if you get in a collision with a driver who's underinsured? We'll tell you all about it later in the video. Carlos was driving one morning when he approached the scene of a collision. He noticed a truck was significantly damaged after rear-ending a big tanker truck. He noticed a company logo on the side of the truck and thought, oh boy, someone's getting fired today. Then he saw the same company logo on the tanker truck. Talk about a bad way to start the day. If you're looking for a good way to start your day, check out our newest channel, Wham Bam Security Cam. We post new episodes every other Saturday morning, so don't miss it. Neptune was in a rush to drop off his son for a cricket match. Oh no, not one of these videos again. Ouch! They ended up replacing the entire door, which cost almost $10,000 US, and fixing the holes the door put in the wall cost another $250. The insurance process was smooth, but ended up taking 4 months. 1 to get the car in the shop, and 3 more to complete the repairs, since Tesla-approved body shops in his area are so backed up. Christian was driving home from work when a driver fell asleep at the wheel and left the roadway before executing what looked like a Hollywood stunt. Christian and his friend stopped to check on the driver. He was okay, but he was a little shocked and asked them to summon paramedics to check him out. He was very fortunate, as he would have gone into a lake or could have hit an oncoming car head-on if he'd gone the other way. Christian thinks his seatbelt saved his life. Prashant was driving his Model Y in Foster City, California when he stopped for a red light, and so did the driver of the Jeep behind him. When the neighboring lane's light turned green, the Jeep started moving and firmly rear-ended the Tesla. Prashant thinks the driver was on her phone or somehow distracted and not paying attention. He reported the collision to the police and filed a claim with the other driver's insurance provider. He's currently waiting for a body shop to give him a repair estimate. Ryan was driving to work at 5:10 a.m. when another driver suddenly ran a red light, splitting between traffic. Ryan was able to slam on his brakes and avoid a collision, but wow, that was a close call. How did that car manage to avoid hitting anything? That was extremely dangerous. Roland was driving his Model 3 in Everett, Washington, when a British driver, who's been living in the United States for over 40 years, mind you, decided to drive on the wrong side of the road. Roland was in the middle turn lane to turn left into a Trader Joe's parking lot, but when he turned left, the other driver, who was in the oncoming lanes, sideswiped his Tesla. The other driver took full responsibility and everyone walked away unharmed. Roland told us his insurance has been great so far, although he's not enjoying the rental Polestar he's been driving in the meantime. He misses his Tesla. The repair estimate came to $15,000 US. William was driving his Model 3 on an Australian highway. Just as he passed a truck hauling an oversized load, a large wrench fell off the trailer. William heard a loud bang, but he had no idea what had happened until he stopped at a service station and checked his Teslacam. He scheduled an appointment to put his car on a lift to see if there was any damage, just to be safe. If anything is found, he'll make a police report. Philippe had parked his Tesla Model 3 at Trader Joe's with dog mode enabled. He checked on his dogs using the Tesla app and saw a couple of ladies hanging around his car looking very concerned. Philippe came up with the brilliant idea of using the boombox feature to let them know the
AC was on and the dogs were fine.
Philippe sent along a shout out to his colleagues on the team that developed dog mode and to his teammates at Tesla Chicago. Man, we love it when Tesla employees send us their videos. It almost makes us feel like Tesla might not sue us out of existence after all. Of course, if they do, I guess we'll be relying on the Dashcam and security cam channels to keep us going. Casper was driving behind his friend on a highway in Denmark when another car suddenly came straight at them on the wrong side of the highway. Both Casper and his friend managed to avoid the wrong-way driver. After arriving at their destination, they saw that the news had reported the incident. Casper picked up the phone and let them know he had footage of the reckless driver, and they were so impressed it had been captured by a Tesla's built-in cameras, Casper's footage was featured on national news. Even so, he told us it's an even bigger honor to be featured on Wham Bam Teslacam. Wait, did he really say that? I didn't think so. Okay, I'll stick to the script. So, like I said, Casper definitely pays more attention to our channel than he does the national news sources. Candy was on her way to Whole Foods when she spotted another Tesla approaching in her rearview mirror. She could tell the driver was speeding and seemed to be in a hurry, so she had already begun to suspect the driver was going to be rude. She kept her eye on them as they got closer. Her suspicions were confirmed when they overtook her using a turn lane, blasting past her illegally and cutting her off. Roll the jingle.
That Tesla man can't drive. That Tesla man can't drive. That Tesla man can't drive. That Tesla man can't drive.
Please don't get triggered, Tesla drivers. We love Teslas too. Peter was traveling east on I-10 from Houston, heading to New Orleans for vacation. When traffic slowed down, the guy following him didn't stop in time. At first, he followed Peter when he pulled over, but he decided to run a minute later. Sadly, the Teslacam footage is blurry, so Peter could only make out the first 3 characters of the other vehicle's license plate number. Peter called 911 and a Louisiana state trooper responded. The trooper was able to do a plate search using the partial plate number, but it also turned out that another driver had witnessed the collision and seen the entire plate number. The witness had also called 911 and gave the operator the plate number. With that, the trooper was able to find the responsible driver and give Peter his insurance information. The next day, the trooper followed up and told him that the driver was 20 years old and this was his first collision. Allegedly, he couldn't get his car door open, so he panicked and took off. The trooper also indicated that the local police visited the driver at home and had a little chat with him, and they indicated to the trooper that he'd probably never flee the scene of a collision again. The initial estimate to repair the damage is over $4,000 US, but Peter is still waiting to get his Tesla into a repair shop. Kyle was on his way to pick up his little brother from summer school and was exiting a highway. When his light turned green, he turned left before feeling an impact. Someone ran the red light and hit the front left side of his Tesla. Kyle made his little brother pay for the repairs since the collision was basically his fault. After all, he was the one who needed to be picked up from summer school. Okay, we're just kidding. Kyle didn't say that. Actually, he contacted the police and made an insurance claim, and the other driver was found entirely at fault. Abhayi was heading into downtown Seattle when he saw someone had programmed a sign to say, well, you can read it for yourself. This anonymous submitter wants our viewers' opinion about what happened in this incident because he's honestly not sure if it was intentional or not. He was driving on the highway and waiting for one semi-truck to pass another. After that truck did manage to pass the other, our submitter began passing them both. Autopilot was engaged and cruising along at the speed limit, but just as he was about to pass the yellow truck, the highway started down a hill and the truck began gaining speed while our submitter was still cruising along on autopilot, resulting in them driving almost alongside each other. All of this happened while the yellow truck began approaching another semi, which the driver apparently wanted to pass. Watch what happened next. The truck driver waved his arm out of his window, and moments later, a large rock hit the Tesla. Our submitter told us he's watched the video over and over, and he can't tell if the trucker threw the rock or if it came from over the top of the truck. Looking at it frame by frame, it kinda looks to us like it's coming from over the top of the truck. What do you think? This Model S owner was driving on a highway in Honolulu, Hawaii. Traffic was flowing a bit under the speed limit, so when two highways merged, the submitter took an opportunity to move to the left lane. Apparently, the Subaru driver in front of him had the same idea, but he didn't use his turn signal or his mirrors apparently, and he almost sideswiped the Tesla. Evidently, the Subaru driver became infuriated by this and started chasing after our submitter. A few miles later, our submitter moved to the right lane to prepare for his exit, and that's when the Subaru driver saw his chance to get even. The Subaru driver drove over the median and passed our submitter on the right before smacking his side view mirror with his hand. Wow, we've seen bikers do this before, but this has to be the first time we've seen someone driving a car do it. Our submitter wasn't about to let that go, so he overtook the Subaru and dove for the exit to get away from him. He was able to fold the mirror back, but he's scheduled a service appointment to have it checked for damage. If he finds any, he'll file a police report with this footage as evidence. Eric summoned his Model 3 in a Walmart parking lot. He was watching it from about 150 feet away when it turned too sharply and hit an adjacent car. The Tesla didn't ever register that it was hitting another car, and Eric told us he had to release the summon button to stop it after he realized what was happening. Eric waited for the other driver and shared his information. Afterward, he contacted Tesla to let them know what had happened, but he told us they just ignored him. He filed a claim with his insurance provider, and they told him he was still at fault even while using Summon. His repair estimate came to $6,000 US. Tyler was driving in the left lane of a two-lane road when another driver didn't see him and hit the side of his Model 3. Tyler's sorry this is just a phone recording of his Tesla's screen, but when he got home to export the video, he realized he'd forgotten to press the button to save it. Remember, if you're ever involved in a collision, immediately hit the save button. A Tesla will only automatically save a video if the airbags are deployed. If it's only a minor collision, the footage won't be automatically saved. In nearly all of the United States, drivers are required by law to have a certain amount of liability insurance and carry proof with them when they drive. Sometimes, the amount of insurance coverage a driver carries isn't enough to pay for all the property damage or injuries they caused in a collision. Some drivers even choose to drive without insurance, which is illegal, of course. When such a driver is involved in a collision, who pays for it? If your own insurance policy includes uninsured or underinsured motorist coverage, you can file a claim with your own insurance provider. But if you don't have these coverages, you'll be on the hook to cover repairs, a rental car if you want one, and any medical bills not covered by your health insurance. You can then take legal action against the at-fault driver to recover these costs. That concludes this week's Wham Bam Insurance class. Remember, we aren't lawyers, so always research your local laws.
Gonna take my car to the open road. Wham bam, Teslacam.